Jennifer is an internationally acclaimed heart-centered entrepreneur, healer, author, speaker, edge pusher, transformational change agent, an expert in building brands. In 1997, Jennifer developed the credibility branding model, which served as the foundation for her consulting business and her acclaimed book, The Credibility Factor. As a seasoned former advertising and public relations executive for more than 3 decades, she was responsible for launching brand communication strategies for companies and campaigns such as, Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft, Yahoo Canada, The Gap, Nasdaq, Canon, Pioneer, Epson, Hostess, and Nortel. Throughout that experience, Jennifer became expert in reading and analyzing and understanding marketing cycles. Plus, she grew adept at when and how to creatively launch brand new visions and product concepts into emerging markets. In 2006, Jennifer left the corporate world to integrate her digital and traditional marketing savvy into the launch of McLean Masterworks, a socially responsible and conscious company that supports and empowers shifts in perception for elevating global consciousness. Quickly becoming a force and a leader in the human potential and personal growth movements, McLean Masterworks offers the Masterworks Healing membership site as a space for prominent healers to offer one-on-one healing sessions, work to members in personal, interactive group coaching sessions. The regular and ongoing transformation healings experienced by members is really a rarity in the online world. Jennifer has also produced the celebrated brand Healing with the Masters, the world's largest online workshop series for 7 years, now in its 14th season. This free series has attracted a global audience of more than 600,000, with New York Times best-selling authors such as an Oprah show guest including Ariana Huffington, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Ram Dass, James Redfield, Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, Marianne Williamson, Don Miguel Ruiz from the Four Agreements, among others, plus delivering powerful and provocative conversations that support fiercely optimistic insights to inspire and uplift those who are on the calls and take part in the series. The series reaches an international subscriber base across 200 countries. Way to go, Jennifer. Through the Success Signature program, Jennifer has married her powerful healing and inner modalities with sound, proven online and real-world business skill sets. Plus, she delivers the gift of seeing and activating the inner domains of her business customers' sole purpose, guiding them to their grandest capacities, their unique human potential, while building a proven, strong, successful business around those dimensions. Along with her book, The Big Book of You, Jennifer has also authored The Credibility Factor and has been featured in Joe Vitale's best-selling book, The Key, Joyce Schwartz's The Vision Board book, and Keith Leon's Who Do You Think You Are? And you've got another book coming out too, I understand, right, Jennifer?
Yeah. I'm actually working on a couple of books right now.
Oh, okay.
One is almost done. It's about my system of healing called body dialoguing. It teaches people how to do self-healing and self-love and transform things that seem impossible to transform.
Okay. If you're okay, I'd love to maybe do a little bit of that towards the end.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that.
Because I think we have some people who like to play.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
So, you've come a long way from your Canadian roots working at the Toronto Sun, rather. To where you are now. You're in season 14. Talk to us about those early days of creating McLean Masterworks. Where the vision for what you do now? Where did it all come from? How did it all sort of come together for you?
It's a nice question, David. Thank you. As most things in life, we start from what doesn't work.
Yeah.
As most things in life, we transform and transition and get nudged into our greatness by things that no longer serve us. And that was what was true for me in corporate America. I'd been in the States since '97, and this was now 2008. I had ensconced myself in the technology industry for the 15 years of that, and really focused on supporting brands that are startups in the tech industry. And, at the end of the day, by 2006, I was so burnt out from doing that. Corporate America is a tough animal, and it provided me with wonderful, incredible skill set. It forced me to look at things in really interesting and unique ways from a business perspective. I became a honed and skilled strategist, and I was able to use those qualities to then start my own company. And at the same time, for all of those years, I was also a healer. I got my healing chops in 2019, in about 1991, 92, 93 there, and for about 5 years I trained as a healer in craniosacral therapy and polarity therapy. I also got my Reiki, and then kind of dove into healing. So I was a part-time healer, a full-time corporate executive.
You're probably going nuts at that corporate executive job, just like wanting to get out,
Yeah, it was tough. And never the twain shall meet is really where I was. I couldn't reveal that side of me. I was a closet spiritualist and healer, and it was confusing and challenging. And the corporate model is very patriarchal and very masculine, and it's not bad. It's just what it is. And so being a female within that environment, it's not easy. It's a different system for the feminine, even the instinctual aspect of the feminine to work within. So I was kind of burnt out, and I was pretty much done, and I was decided I was going to become a healer.
Wow.
And I tried my hand at internet marketing and failed miserably. I put all of my time and effort into a campaign that was supposed to yield about $40,000 for me personally in profit, and it yielded $379 and some change. And so I was in big freaking doo-doo. I had quit my corporate job and my healthy six-figure salary. I had not started my healing practice. I wasn't sure I wanted to. I failed miserably in online marketing. It was a great experience, but I failed, and I realize in hindsight the reason I failed is in part because what I teach people now, which is I was supporting someone else's business, and the universe no longer wanted me to do that. It was time to do my own thing, and so that's why I failed.
Wow. So, yeah.
Yeah. So what I ended up about 2 weeks away from living in my car.
Oh, okay.
And, I was almost homeless, and I kind of tapped in deep inside, and I got some incredible lessons. I heard this really cool inner wisdom, and it said, go back and do what you're good at, and give yourself financial space to then do what you love. So I'm like, okay. So I started my freelance business again as a business strategist, a public relations and communications brand expert. I got myself a couple clients. I hitched myself up from the bootstraps, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to maybe become a healer, and maybe I'll downsize, and maybe I'll do freelance work and then focus on my healing work. And I'm like, okay, so how would I do that? Well, I learned how to start startups. So I'm like, okay, I'm a startup, and I need to get clients. How would I do that? So I took my credibility branding model, which I created in corporate America, and I applied it to my own business, and I had helped so many companies go public or have a great exit strategy and become multimillionaires. And so I'm like, okay, well, what could I do for myself? And so within 18 months of starting using credibility branding, I made my first million. And I haven't looked back. And so it was
just from healing?
Yeah, well, it was healing with the masters, right?
Oh,
so
right.
That was the credibility branding strategy that I put together. Then I did a whole bunch of other stuff. I tried a whole whack of stuff. I did online coaching, and I did, and I put together a Master Healing membership site, which has done very, very well over the years. And healing was it, and I added this limiting belief that healers didn't do well, that I'd have to downsize. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
And now I get to reach hundreds of thousands of people. I feel incredibly blessed. And there's no way I would have been able to do that without the skill set that I learned in corporate America. So there was a beautiful design to my life, and at this stage in my story, I usually turn to the audience and say, there's a design to your life too. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Every step of my journey has built to this particular moment here with you, David.
Right.
And everyone else's journey is the same. Every step of your journey is exactly the step you're supposed to be at, no matter what it looks like. 2 weeks away from living in my car did not look like fun.
I was there too at one point, and you
right?
just have to kind of just plug away, don't stop.
That's right. You don't stop, and those moments, they seed something within our being. That if I can overcome that, inches by hairs, what's possible in my life, and I think that's a principle that I've used ever since.
I just hosted a panel discussion last week, a little north of the city, on social purpose enterprise, and three people who were involved in that end of doing business, and the premise of the evening was, can you do good and still do business? And you kind of bucked the trends. You're saying, yeah, you can do really well and do really good. So
absolutely.
Speak to us a little bit about that.
Do you want to know the secret?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a secret. There is an absolute secret. And the secret is to know who you are. The secret is to not only know who you are, but to love yourself.
Right.
And I know that sounds weird coming out of a brand strategist.
Yeah.
But truly, that's it. To know who you are and authentically live from that place. Know who you are and authentically create your business from that place of knowing and being. Being. Not doing, but being. In my program, Success Signature, I teach my entrepreneurial students that marketing is 100% energy. 100%. And I give them proof by my very first season of Healing with the Masters, which was the ugliest website you can imagine. I did all my own HTML and my designing, and I am not an HTML person, nor am I a designer. So my first season looked like crap.
Yeah.
But the copywriting was pretty good. I've always been a pretty good copywriter, but nonetheless, it's about the energy that's behind it that matters. And that first season was an enormous success, just an enormous success, beyond anything I ever could have dreamed of. And it had a lot less to do with a lot of entrepreneurs get stopped by perfectionism. They get stopped by, I've got to have a website. The first thing we teach our students is you don't need a website.
I teach them just go and call people,
Yeah, exactly. A website is great, but put together a sales page, put together an opt-in page. That's way more important. And you can develop an indoctrination strategy from that. Put together a webinar series with a couple of videos that describe who you are and what you're up to, and indoctrinate people. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. That's just about building relationships.
Right.
And then drive them into a sales page, and then drive them into a sale. Create an opt-in page. An opt-in page costs about $100, $200 to put together, and that way you can start developing a list. And an opt-in page is, give me your email address in exchange for a product. And the product could be as simple as a meditation, or it could be something that you're expert at, that you're sharing from your heart. So, David, I'm feeling compelled to share one more thing about this.
Please.
That is that most people think that their gift is not important because our gifts come naturally to us. Our gifts come naturally to us. The thing that people say, wow, you're really good at that, and you kind of look at them like they have four heads, because it's like, what do you mean? I thought everyone could do this. Those are our gifts. Those are the things that other people need, and each of us is a puzzle piece in the puzzle that is humanity. Each of us is a piece of light that contributes to all. So every single one of us has a very unique gift that comes easy to us. And we don't have to give it short shrift just because it becomes easy to us. We can honor our gifts and use our gifts to create products and solutions and freebies that we give to, it's called a squeeze page or an opt-in page, that people will give you their email address. And once they give you their email address, you now get to have a longer conversation with them. And you
Yeah.
can put together a webinar series that leads them into a sale. It's a very simple and easy process to run things in an online world now. And I absolutely love teaching people about this. But again, those are tactics, and some of them are strategies. And the biggest and most important strategy of your business, of your life, is to know who you are,
Right.
to love who you are, to honor who you are every single day.
Yeah. Even when it doesn't go so well, and I know you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Especially in those moments. Especially in those moments, to take a moment and stop and say, "God, I love you. You're so cute. You're adorable. You think you just made a huge mistake, but what if that mistake is this moment here of me recognizing and seeing who you are, and moving both of us to a place of expansion that couldn't be possible without this moment."
Let's go. I want to go back, and this is great. Sort of wisdom and advice, and I can't agree with you more. And I think as entrepreneurs, we're so hard on ourselves. We're always judging. We've got that little inner critic popping up, and that little inner voice when things don't go well that's saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't know. You should have been a doctor. Stop that." Like this is hurting. This rejection or the pain of being in business sometimes can really hurt. Maybe we don't get the results we want, or we don't get the amount of people on a call or coming out to our sessions or calling us or calling us back even, or maybe we put our best foot forward and others don't recognize it. So, like what do you how do you kind of overcome those precarious moments of being in business? Jan?
I think part of it is, again, when you know who you are and you know what you're up to. We have an internal sense of things. We have an internal sense of what is right and on purpose. Everything that isn't, even if it feels like a disappointment, is the perfect next step getting us to where we want to go next. The challenge is that we're impatient. And if we stopped being impatient, the opportunities would actually open up for us more. If we start moving more in a place of trust and faith, then we would actually move in a faster, quicker space. I watched, what's her name? Anita Morjani. Do you know that? Dying to Be Me. She had end-stage cancer, lymphoma. She was supposed to die on February the 2nd, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
She went into the hospital in a coma in an ambulance from home. It was supposed to be her last day on the planet. She went to the other side, and she came back. She opened her eyes a couple hours later, and within 5 days her cancer was gone. Gone. And one of the things she said, which I absolutely know to be true, is that there's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And at any point in time, we can go from step 1 to 10. And the thing that will allow us to pass go and not go to jail, as in a Monopoly reference, the things that will allow us to not have to do all those 8 steps is to love ourselves and to know ourselves. Is to truly, fundamentally, unconditionally love ourselves. Now, loving ourselves does not mean just having a massage or reading a good book. That's part of it. Loving ourselves means actually taking the time when we've made a mistake, or the time when we're impatient, or the time when we got rejected. In those moments, the reaction that shows up, the emotion that shows up, honoring that emotion. That, when we treat ourselves as a loving parent would to a 2-year-old who's having a temper tantrum, when we treat ourselves like that, that is pure divine love. When we do that, we jump, we hop skip, we leapfrog over, and we are now in alignment with the love that we are when we create. Okay, let me rephrase that. We have a big dream. There's no one who's listening here. I know there's not a lot of people on, but it's okay. Whoever's listening, you've been called here in this moment. and you have a big dream. You have a big dream. I mean, I heard some of the conversation beforehand. You're doing big, important work on the planet. And everything that isn't in alignment with that dream will show up for you to resolve and play through and work through and love, so that you are in a vibrational alignment with your dream. So in those moments of the greatest upset is the greatest opportunity for you to take the time to love and honor the bits and pieces of yourself that are reacting. To love and honor the part of you that maybe doesn't even believe in you because of something that happened in the past. To move through those emotions, but feel them. Don't repress, don't suppress, because that's the a hallmark of disease. Dis-ease is when we repress our emotions. Feel them fully, allow them forward, honor them and love those parts of ourselves. And when we do that, we leapfrog. But here's the caveat. We can't do those things to leapfrog.
Right.
We can't say, okay, I'm loving myself, where's my cash? It doesn't work that way.
No. But it will come.
There's no question.
Or it might not, and you still have to love yourself.
Yeah, and when it doesn't come and you love yourself, boy, oh boy. You know, when I was in that dark night of the soul, when I was 2 weeks away from living in my car, I got an eviction notice, and I had nowhere to go. I literally was going to have to leave all my stuff and live in my car. And I had some dark thoughts in that moment, that I went into my kind of what I call the sacred chamber, and I asked the wisdom that was there, which we all have, and I said, what the hell? I mean, really, I haven't had the easiest frickin' life. Can we just let up just a little frickin' bit, for crying out loud?
Yeah.
And what I heard was this really important statement that changed everything for me. And what I heard was that I've been seeking outside of myself for love. I've been seeking outside of myself for acknowledgement, that success and achievement and striving was all external. I was reaching for that proverbial golden, brass ring. You know how they say, go for the brass ring?
Yeah.
And it's just imagine yourself reaching inexorably for that brass ring, outside of you. I was reaching always outside of me. And they said, you've made a little error. You are the brass ring. You are that which you are seeking. You are the gift. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are all of it. And that moment when you see that you are all you need is when you leapfrog. And, leapfrogging doesn't mean just success and money. Leapfrogging also means that we are in a place of allowing and freedom and grace and ease.
Yeah,
so much so,
and peace.
And peace, so much so that when life does show up, we have grace with it. I mean, life doesn't stop showing up. We're still going to have grief and loss. There's none of us are getting off this planet alive.
No.
Right? So there will be loss in our life, for sure, guaranteed 100%. But when we reach this part of our journey where we have grace and ease and freedom within it, we have a sense of trust and faith. And listen, I'm not a saint. I can't. There's no one on this planet, with maybe the exception of one or two, who are true masters, who don't have some kind of pain and suffering. Who don't. Every day there's a moment in my day when I lost my sister last year, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't have a little crying jag of grief. But I also know that my sister honored me at the highest level by leaving me. I know that now. I know that my level of compassion and awakening that I've experienced in the last 15 months has been because of what happened. It woke me up in ways that couldn't have been possible.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
I know
not to
you
say
have to heal, some big past issues there too,
you betcha, you betcha. So it's not to say that, listen, I have a very nice lifestyle now. I have a beautiful house overlooking the ocean in California, the pool, and I'm very blessed. I get it. And I've been able to help hundreds of thousands of people. That is the biggest blessing. And yet life is continuing to show up. Life is continuing to nudge me into an expansion. And unfortunately right now for many of us, that expansion comes through the nudge of pain and sometimes suffering.
So
I believe there'll be time when that doesn't have to happen. But right now that's kind of what our culture and our lifestyle is about. And one day it won't.
Yeah.
But for now, we get to use it. I
So
get
what-
to use it for the moment. Go ahead.
What are you expanding into? What's next for you? Because you've done so much. I mean, you've taken this concept and, you're tapping into the wisdom of today's top, change agents and healers and authors and thinkers. And you're also bringing spirit, prayers, your weekly prayer circles and, biweekly body dialogue sessions. And I love the Sunday sound baths. I mean, John, I was on one back in April, and John helped me through a very, very emotional, crappy day for me one Sunday.
Yeah.
And this is powerful work you're doing. So what's that next thing for you? What are you evolving?
Yeah, that's a good question. The next step, truly is Success Signature, which is the helping individuals create heart-centered businesses. To me, in our culture, especially in North America, the business is an incredibly important and yet very arid and harsh environment.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's a powerful opportunity for us to expand in really amazing new ways through business. So my goal is to assist entrepreneurs in understanding the energy of their business, the success, what I call the success signature, their personal human potential, that unique purpose that they're here to play with, helping entrepreneurs not only tap into it, but to use it as a platform upon which they grow their business quickly, moving into that leapfrog stage, moving quickly into new business, into business and success. And then the ripple effects for me will be even greater than Healing with the Masters, because for every one business that could affect hundreds of thousands and millions, right? I'm one business helping hundreds and thousands and eventually millions with Healing with the Masters. That will continue. Mm-hmm. But if I help 1,000 entrepreneurs who then in turn help 1 million people, can you see the ripple effect?
Totally.
It's so much greater.
Yeah.
So that's where my heart is right now, is to really assist entrepreneurs in healing.
Yeah.
Assisting entrepreneurs in creating a new kind of company. So we not only talk about tactics and strategies for generating income. We know that that's the first and most important thing. But we're also growing companies that allow a new infrastructure of love to be the platform upon which they run their businesses and interact with vendors and their employees.
Yeah. And if you don't think it works, read up on Dr. Patty Lund out of Australia, or Tony Hsieh's Zappos, Delivering Happiness, or my good friend Jack Mitchell out of the States. In California, he's got stores, and up in New York, and their philosophy is hug your customer. But they're still old school. There's this newness emerging. These social purpose enterprises where they're doing good and they're doing business. They're solving, society's ills, and they're doing business. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's a very strong heart-centered aspect of what I want to do next. And eventually, we're looking at media, becoming a bigger media. Right now, we're a media company from a teleseminar perspective, but we're looking at other venues of media where we can bring interesting fictional messages to the marketplace. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, we're trusting the process.
You're going to be a producer.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we'll likely hire production. We're likely going to be a network and hire production companies to fill our content. But it's very exciting, what's possible. And all the way along, I trust the divine purpose, the divine timing, the divine tempo of all of it. And that's one of the things I is so incredibly important, is to, let go of the impatience And there's this really cool movie called About Time. And it came out last year with Rachel McAdam. And I go see it. There's this one part in the movie that is just particularly gorgeous. The guy's a time traveler, and his father tells him, here's the secret of happiness with this time-traveling gift. Take a day that was really, really, really difficult, really a hard day, and, you know, where you didn't have time to look up. You didn't have time to experience the moment because you just had to get head down, get through the day. And his advice to his son, the time traveler, was go back in time and revisit that day. And this time, look around. This time, appreciate what the day holds. Appreciate the individuals you meet. And to me, that's kind of what I'm trying to do now with my life. And I think it's the secret ingredient to being a successful entrepreneur, is honoring the moment as precious.
It's all we
Honoring
have.
honoring the moment that you are in it as precious. Seeing your role in, you know, almost like It's a Wonderful Life, the role that you play in the people that you've touched in your lifetime. And then bring conscious awareness to your journey as an entrepreneur. Bring conscious, I mean, to me that's it. When we bring conscious awareness to what we're up to, gee whiz, things change.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm getting that message a lot the past couple of weeks, actually. So this is quite
good, David. It's a sign. It's
Yeah.
a sign.
Yeah. Let's open the call to questions from our those who are on the call. I know Susan's here, and Judy. If you want to unmute, you have any questions? Charlene, I know you're on. You're typing in your questions. So do you have anything anybody wants to ask? You want to unmute yourselves, Judy and Susan? And Charlene, if you have a mic. Anybody? Going once, going twice, going chicken soup with rice. That's from that book as a kid. All right. A quiet group tonight. So I'm going to ask you this. Part of, Jennifer, my promotion for tonight was, what on earth is happening? There's so much change. We're seeing so many extremes. I mean, up here in Canada last week, we had these sort of acts of, I don't know if they were terrorism necessarily, but violent acts against our military. What are we all going through? Some of us may know what's up, others may not. What is this all about? What's this all leading to? This shift, this change, this tumult in the world that we're seeing. It's hard some days to have hope, but yet I think your business deals in hope.
Yeah, it's a good question, David. I think to me there is a beautiful divine unfolding for everything that happens within our purview. And that's not to say that we don't have to take action from it. That doesn't have to say that we're hiding in our in our meditation room and oming our way out of things. That's not what I'm talking about. But when we see from our divine perspective, when we see from our divine vision, when we look from there, there's an inkling that there's something afoot here that is required in order for us to move to what's next. Every single person that's listening now and on the recording has experienced something in their life that they look back upon and say, that was the moment that changed everything. There was before that moment, there was after that moment. And the fact that you're still here listening means that you used the moment to expand. The same thing is true of world events. These moments are here nudging us into an expansion that maybe perhaps can't be possible without them. Perhaps Canadians were honoring that 16-year-old, I think her name is Moala.
Yes.
Who was shot and they suspect that the violence was a result of honoring her. Now, one of the things that she's quoted as saying when she won the Nobel Peace Prize recently was, "When you shot me," she was saying to her detractors, "when you shot me, you did not kill me. You did the opposite. You brought attention to who I am, what I'm about, and what I desire as a fundamental human right. You brought attention to me as a spokesperson now for allowing women to be educated on this planet." She does not look at that moment as something horrible that happened to her. She looks at that as an opportunity for expansion and education on the planet of what's really going on, of opening our eyes, of awakening. I believe that we are at a time of deep and profound awakening, that we are being nudged by at every level of our being. Our body, physical bodies are being nudged. Our emotional bodies are being nudged. Our mental bodies are being nudged, and certainly our spiritual bodies are being nudged into an awakening. And for those of us who are stubborn in our awakening, the volume is being turned up. And these incidences on the planet represent the increased volume. Pay attention, wake up. Wake up. Wake up to the love that you are. Wake up to the power and the joy and the glorious beings that you are. Wake up to the gifts that you are. Wake up to the cultural implications of violence. Wake up to see that there is love, there is possibility, there is flow outside of violence. There's a whole new movement of people that is much, 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 much bigger than what the news shows. Then I remember Abraham Hicks said in a workshop I was at with them, that if you took all of the great works that were happening on the planet, all of the generosity and love that is happening on this planet, all the moments of sweetness and joy and support and acknowledgement and safety that were happening on this planet, and then you compared them in a newsreel, say, of the bad stuff that was happening on the planet, the bad stuff would be a blip so small that you couldn't see it by comparison. And unfortunately, we are being fed information about an exorbitant amount of violence that is actually not nearly as real as the exorbitant amount of love. And there will be a change and a transformation, and I believe it will happen in my lifetime, when we will see the truth of this. We will see that there is love and joy, and that these moments are the nudges to our awakening. Just as my sister's passing was an enormous kick in the butt to my awakening. ISIS and Syria and Ebola and floods and storms. These are the nudges to our conscious awakening. When 9/11 happened, the 3 days, I was living in California at the time, and the 3 days that followed that time for me was a time of crazy kindness and sweetness. The roads out here in California are a little bit wild and crazy. It's a wilderness of crazy drivers all trying to get somewhere in bad roads with crazy traffic. And yet in those 3 days after 9/11, people let each other in. The traffic slowed down by 10 miles an hour. When we were at banks and in lines at the grocery store, we looked at each other and smiled. That 9/11 did that for 3 days. So these moments are moments here for us to awaken.
Yeah, and without the dark, we can't have the light, and then as the dark sort of amps it up a little bit. There's increasing light.
Yep.
Just increasing light. Oh, I love it.
Well, you know what? There is an increase of light. So guess what increases with the light?
Love, joy, peace.
And the darkness.
Ah. Right.
It's not to say that there's more darkness. It's just to say that it's more visible, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you mentioned, the media has a big hand in this. I tend to agree, and it's all, like I personally I can't watch the news so much anymore. It affects me on
Yeah, yeah,
on
I
an
know. I
energetic
went through
level.
about 6 years of that, and recently I've been watching again. And because, and do whatever works for you. If the news is too distressing, don't watch it.
Yeah.
But recently I've been watching again to see what's going on, first of all, and to mark my reaction to it.
Hmm.
Before I got afraid and I turned it off. Now I get full of love and compassion. Listen, the NBC News at the end of the last thing on the NBC News is something beautiful that's happening on the world. That's a change that we're creating.
Yeah.
There's no question of it.
Well, and look at you want to start your own video and media channel, and that's also changing. I mean, the way we're consuming media, is changing. I mean,
Well, Netflix,
vast.
Amazon Prime, I mean, there's all kinds of new ways that we are disseminating content now.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like
Yep.
the likes of which I don't even think we've scratched the surface. Yet. I just want to kind of end a little bit and talk a little bit about that mind-body connection. A lot of the challenges we're facing each day not only affect our collective psyches, but they also translate into aches, pains, and illness. And I know part of your launching Healing with the Masters was born out of your own healing quest. And as a result, a lot of the work that you do and what you offer, the many thousands that you reach around the world, is steeped in this mind-body-spirit connection. And the three go hand in hand. What do we need to pay attention to when we're in pain or conflicted with illness or disease, Jennifer?
Uh, yeah, I used to have a very complicated answer to that. And my answer is really, really simple right now. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Truly, truly, truly love yourself. When, to me, the disease is a direct result of emotional trauma. And I'll go into the complicated answer now. The emotional trauma is a result of something that happened to us, usually in childhood, but sometimes in adulthood. And those things happen to us because we came to this planet wanting to have a set of experiences. We came to this planet because our soul had such an incredible, unyielding yearning to experience something. For me personally, I believe my soul's yearning, unyielding yearning, no less, was to experience pure love on the planet, pure forgiveness while I'm on this planet. And in order for me to experience pure love and pure forgiveness on this planet, my soul said, you must experience its opposite. Because when you know its opposite, you know the fullest expression of love. So my childhood was filled with its opposite: sexual abuse, narcissism, alcoholism. And I spent the rest of my life until this very moment and moving forward trying to recover from that experience. But what I know now is that what I did was I created a template upon which I could then compare the darkness with the light, in this instance, in my life. And so the soul's yearning creates these crazy experiences where the experience is so wrought with upset that we shake our hands at God and say, why me? And when we turn around and point, so everyone listening to this call right now, Wayne Dyer did this the other night, I loved it. Everyone just point at themselves right now. Just take their finger and point at themselves right now.
Okay.
David, are you pointing at
I'm
yourself?
pointing, yeah.
Okay. And where are you pointing?
Right to my sort of heart or solar plexus. Yeah.
There's not one person on this call that is pointing to their head. They're pointing to their heart. Know yourself. Love yourself. And know that every single solitary thing that's happened to you in your life has been here for you. Not against you, not victimizing you, for you. It's part of the algorithm of your soul. It's your soul alchemy. You came here as an alchemical being to experience lead and silver to make gold.
Mm.
You experience toxicity in order to experience its opposite. Your soul yearned at such a deep level to have the experiences that you had so that you might gain not only freedom from it, but an understanding of its opposite in the framework of love. It, so profoundly that you would never forget it.
Yeah. Charlene on the call says the law of polarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And Charlene, I would just ask you right now, because it was a lovely statement, and I could feel it. And there's also a mind-oriented aspect to that answer. And I'm just tapping, and I hope it's okay.
yeah, sure.
So just
And
Charlene.
we got powerful people on this call, Susan.
Yeah, I know it. And the challenge is to remain in our heart while we honor the intellect. So I would ask Charlene to bring her energy into her heart, and then say that statement again from there. And what there's a as I feel the answer that Charlene is coming up with as she says the law of polarity from her heart. There's this almost 360-degree vibration of flow and possibility that goes with it. We're wonderful intellectual beings. Most of the people here have studied hard.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. The opportunity now is take that study and let the intellect have it and move into our heart and move into our sacred chamber and move into that place of exploration and possibility and flow and wisdom. Wisdom is different than intellect. Wisdom is stuff that we don't know, and it's okay that we don't know, because we don't know what we don't know in most of our life. And when we move from the heart, we're moving from a place of allowing that don't know what we don't know to be a gift, an awesome, awesome gift.
And we allow things to emerge and occur.
Yeah, exactly.
When you move there, and I know where I'm at in my business now, and where I was at even a year ago or 6 months ago is totally different. Things have just emerged and just come up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the evidence of it. You're starting to have that sense of trust and faith. And listen, I've had an awful year in business. I kind of took a year off because of my sister's death, reevaluating everything, and it was not a good year for me from a business perspective. And yet, gosh, I'm so grateful for what happened, because it rejiggered. Like I said, all of life is here for us. There are moments I had when I'm like, what the frig, man? I'm being kicked when I'm down. You
can say it.
I'm being kicked when I'm down. What the hell?
I know.
And yet, I was able to use that moment to say, that's not who you are, Jen. You're not a victim. You live in a field of love and possibility and flow. What would love do here? How would love look at this? And I got to reevaluate my business from a completely different perspective. I started to, what we teach what we most need to learn. I started to move into my success signature way, way, way more. I started to tap into my customers way more. I started to be honored by the work I did, not just receiving from it, but honored to be married with Healing with the Masters, something so precious and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for me to have that new understanding and relationship with my business, I had to lose some of it. So I'm grateful for that moment. And I can feel myself moving into a whole new different direction as a result of having a very challenging year in business. And none of it is bad. All of it is here for me. There's no question. Because I have a really big dream. I want to reach a billion people with these messages. I want to reach a billion people with the speakers I promote. I want to reach so many people with this new message of hope and possibility and flow and opportunity and power that we are, and the light that we are, and the love that we are. And so in order, just like everyone else, in order for me to be in alignment with that energy, I had to experience something this year that wasn't that, in order to move through it so that I could be in a place of freedom and flow for it.
Yeah. Well, I remember being on a body dialogue call with you, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago, and you were just, it was really tough for you. You were in absolute tears, shortly after your sister's passing, all the stuff that came up. So way to go, for transforming that into this.
And that's all we can. That's all we can do. Next step. Next step. What's next?
Yeah. Keep the
What's
feet
the next
moving.
step that's placed before us, and honor that step and use it.
Yeah.
Gobble it up.
Yeah, I like the self-love message tonight. Now, I even have a question about it on the screen here. Where I was on Facebook yesterday, and someone on the Abraham Hicks Facebook group that I belong to said, she hates her body and she wants to change it. And to me, that's far from self-love. So, in a sort of a day-to-day sort of basis, how do we practice and teach ourselves to truly love ourselves on a day-to-day basis? Are there any sort of rituals that we can put in place, or is it just changing our dialogue?
I think the greatest practice we can do is when we have those moments of hating those parts of us, whether it's a body or a personality, an aspect of our personality or whatever, that we pause and honor that part of us. And with that exception, pretty much every time I've done that, what I've been playing a lot with lately is judgment. I'm a professional judger, really good at it, years of practice.
Yeah.
And, when I pause and just love that part of me who judges, and I just say to that part of me, hey, beautiful Jen the judger, I'm so sorry for what happened to you that created this need to judge. And, I really care about you, and I love you, and I'm so sorry for what happened to you. And eventually that judging part of me finally told me, they said to me, I judge to feel safe. When I can label someone and put them over there in a box, I can see them now, and therefore if they ever attack me, then I know where they are and who they are and what they are, and I'm safe as a result. And what I also noticed is that every single person I've judged has turned around and become way more than the label I gave them. They were rich and beautiful and amazing and sweet. And every single person I have met has a really good reason for their behavior, including mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I judged to feel safe, and I now love that part of me that judged.
Yeah.
I love her every time she judges. I just love her. That's the practice. To love, and the other piece of that that's really incredibly important is to feel the feelings behind it. So I had to go and feel the feelings of the judger, why she's judging, and behind it is terror and, lack of safety. And I just got to feel that along with them and said, we're okay still, and we're feeling this. We're really feeling it. Because most of the time, we were not in a place where we could feel it before. We were in a place of survival. That's why we came up with those coping mechanisms. Judgment is a coping mechanism. It hid the feelings that I couldn't feel at the time because it was way too dangerous. So if we just allow the aspects of us to be loved and cared for, and we say to them, I love you, I care about you, we don't try to change them either. They don't have to change. We just love them. Love is greater than change.
Are you talking to your inner child in that?
Yeah. Well, it depends on who they are. Sometimes it's an inner child. Sometimes it's an adult. It's whoever shows up. I just love that part of me.
You were big on the Ho'oponopono prayer, and who do you like now? Those will be my kind of last three questions here. Who's emerging as a real somebody to watch in the healing in the area of healing?
Oh, that's a good question. Ironically, one of the greatest awakenings I've ever had happened on Friday with Dr. Wayne Dyer.
He still has it.
Well, he's different now, man. Oh, since his leukemia, right? Everything is here for us. The other person I'm really admiring is Matt Kahn.
Right.
I love Emmanuel Dagger. Oh my God, what a beautiful soul.
He's just a young guy.
He's amazing, and he's an amazing healer.
Wow.
Yeah, watch for him. He's going to be busting out here in the next year or two.
Okay. Anyone else we should watch for?
I'm a big fan of Kenji Kamara, Jared Jewett, and of course my all-time favorite is Mary Hall.
Yeah. You got great guests.
Mary Hall is one of the most amazing abundance people on the planet. If you ever have a chance to work with her, oh my God, run.
So we're at that shameless self-promotion time, but let me just see if anybody, I'm going to unmute everybody, so watch your background noise. Any last questions for anybody? No, anyone? No? It's that quiet group. My gosh. Usually we like to play. They're writing in their questions. So,
David?
yes. Judy.
Oh, hey. Jennifer, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You resonated with every part of me. I would love to have a private conversation with you. And I will Facebook you a message.
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you, Judy.
Yeah, this is awesome. Resonated and confirmed and validated so much.
Oh, good.
And
That's great. That fills my heart. Thank you.
Susan, if you want to unmute yourself, I think you can ask a question. And Charlene? No mic. We got to buy you a mic for Christmas. Charlene did ask about a marketing question, but
Sure.
Just real quick in terms of marketing, how focused should we be? Do you have a 30-day plan to magnify your flow of time, money, and productivity, or is that too broad? What's your opinion?
Say that again.
Do you have, in terms of marketing, how focused should we be? She has a 30-day plan to magnify her flow of time, money, and productivity. Is that too broad? What's your opinion? Like,
business is about, and especially heart-centered business is about being equal measures broad and equal measures focused.
Yeah.
So no, that's not too broad.
Okay.
David, there's an event. Your audience might be interested in this, and if they're interested, they can join. If they go to Healing with the Masters and join our list, we're going to be announcing it later this week. But if you where else could you go? You could go to the Facebook group, Success Signature. So if you just plug into Facebook Success Signature, you can find our Facebook group. We'll be announcing it there too. Or join Healing with the Masters and experience some of our amazing healing masters. But we're going to be announcing an event that's coming up in January, middle of January. It's called the Success Attunement Event. And essentially what we're going to be doing is 3 full days of healing. In fact, the first 50 people will be able to work directly with Mary Hall as she does what we call a heart love activation. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever personally experienced ever. She kind of has like Amma energy. She's really, really profound. But anyway, it's basically what we're doing is we're gifting our audience. We're really tapping into how individuals wanted leapfrog, so we created a leapfrog event that would allow, and if you join our list, you'll get a scholarship, you'll get a scholarship, and you'll also get a $400 coupon. The event's $495. You get a $400 coupon, and then you get your $97 back when you come to the event in the form of a $100 bill. So you basically will make a profit immediately of $3.
That's amazing.
So that's coming up the middle of January in Los Angeles, California. So if any of your audience are interested, just go to healingwithmasters.com and join our list, or go to Success Signature Facebook page. The best way is to get on our email list, and we'll send you an email about the event. But it's really exciting.
I've got your website and your picture up on the screen here, on the webinar screen. And
great.
Healingwiththemasters.com, and I just can't thank you enough. I loved your message. You were bang on.
Well, thank you, David.
You mentioned people to watch, but to me, I think you're someone to watch, Jennifer.
Oh well, thank you. That's very nice of you, David. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true, and I'm always blown away by your generosity, your huge heart, your sense of community, bringing the world together, and also your authenticity. Where you're okay just to be you and just lay it on the line. Here's what's up.
Thank you, David. And I have to tell you, it takes one to know one. So whatever qualities you see in me are in you.
Thank you, my dear. I
Thank
just
you.
love you. And just continued health and joy and success, my dear.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Same back at you, and thanks for your good works in the
Yeah.
world.
All right. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being on the call. Have a beautiful night.
Bye-bye now.
Cheers.